Previously on Unfiltered Heart Talks.
Then we had a huge fight that led to 13-year separation.
There's no way he's gonna be faithful to me because he's gone off to college.
Yo, that name followed me around for years. Even in my adult life. I didn't know that theologians had a bad reputation.
Ooh.
There was one thing I said to myself when I went on campus. I said, not one girl will be able to say I slept with them. I was just hoping that you would say something to me, that you would talk to me. And you never did. And if you had done that, maybe it would have changed the whole trajectory of my life. It would have changed my mindset as it relates to getting married. Because I was so in love with you. You practically shaped my entire worldview of the woman I wanted to be with. So if you had spoken to me that day, for sure, it would have changed how my life projected forward.
Yes, and
Mhm.
a lot of times when we would talk about this, because we've talked about our love story a million times, I'd feel so sad, even sometimes tear up and start crying because I'm like, my God, had we had that conversation, things would have been so different.
Right.
I feel like a lot of the time that has passed and the years that was, I don't want to say wasted because there are lessons in the tragedies,
Yeah.
but it could have been avoided.
Could have been avoided.
And it just hurts because I decided that pride, the pride in me was shutting me up, and I didn't say anything. And had I said something, our lives would have gone completely different.
Completely different for sure. We don't want to touch too much into it because
Okay.
we're going to do a complete whole episode.
Okay.
And why did I stay married?
Why did I get married?
Why did I stay married?
Why did I stay married? And why did I get divorced?
So we want to
we need to say that again. Say that again. We're gonna do a whole episode on why did I stay married and why did I get divorced.
So we want to save the deep intricacies for that particular episode.
Yes.
So you guys tune into that episode right after this one, where you can get to hear about our story,
why we got married, why we stayed married, and why we got divorced.
And of course, we know that it comes with its own share of scrutiny, but hey, guess what?
Welcome.
This is the world and what it is, so we are prepared for that.
Yes.
But yeah, so fast forward to...
I migrated.
You migrated. And I think that contributed to me getting involved into a relationship, so quickly, even though I don't know. I think it was some time, but it contributed to it because I was like, okay, we're broken up. She's not talking to me. I really don't know how to have a conversation.
Yeah, and then you had mentioned at one point when I came home and I said nothing to you, even though you were hoping that I would, it's cemented in your mind that this is over. You had shared that with me at one point.
It's cemented in my mind that this is over. And also looking at the fact that you were migrating, it was like, okay, it's
There's
a lost
no hope.
cause.
Yeah.
There was no hope, So from that, I got married.
Yes.
And the last time we saw each other would have been in 2012 or 2013.
2013.
Yeah. And then you migrated and I never saw you again.
Never saw me again. 2012 or 2013. One of those years, late 2012 or early 2013.
Yeah.
And because I migrated mid-2013, mid-year 2013.
Yeah. So that was the last time I saw you.
Until 2019. 2019. We had, I had to fly out for my sister's funeral.
Yeah.
And I had to fly out for that event. And you were gonna be there. And honestly, it was a sad event. It was a very sad event, but knowing that I was gonna see you made it made it bearable. You know, it's
Yeah.
like I had something to look forward to, so I didn't have to cry the whole time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
how was that for you?
that was crazy. Like 13 years, there was no doubt that you were my first love.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no doubt that when you left, you literally took a piece of my heart with you because that hole was still in my heart. But as I said, I didn't know how to deal with that. And I was still married. And of course, there was never any moment where we shared something inappropriate with each other, whether it was a conversation or anything like that. So for 13 years, not seeing you, how did I feel? I, it was like, man, this girl she's my first love. Um, I just didn't know how to feel. It was a mixture of everything.
Yeah, because we were there for a funeral, so
Yeah.
it was
So
a
it was a
lot going
mixture
on.
it was a mixture of everything.
So it was a mix of feelings, you
Mhm.
know, like being happy to see me,
Mhm.
happy, me happy to see you,
Right.
but the event also being a somber one because our sister passed,
Right. Right.
So that in itself, there was a lot to unpack.
Mhm.
But what struck me about us reuniting or seeing each other for the first time after 2013,
Mhm.
it's like 6 years.
Yeah.
6 years.
Well, that was a long time.
It's a long time.
Mhm.
6 years of not seeing each other to seeing each other just randomly at the funeral. It just went by so fast. It's
It
like I
did.
saw
It
you,
did.
we greeted, we drove to the burial site, and then you were gone. It was like literally, I think we spent about maybe 15 to 20 minutes
Mhm.
together.
Yeah.
And I remember going home after the funeral, and
There was a little bit of sadness.
I was sad.
Yeah.
Not just because my sister passed, but I knew what we share
Mhm.
or shared, and I knew it wasn't anything that time could just dissolve. That's
Right.
one thing about our relationship. It's that even after years of us not even communicating or being distant,
Mhm. It was like you see that one person and you just
it's
know
just that one person.
I should have been with this person.
It's just that one person. And,
Yeah.
and we have to do a talk on this. How many people are there that are living their lives
Mhm.
still thinking about that one person,
That
and that
one
one
person,
person
yeah.
is still thinking about them?
Yeah, that's
You
crazy.
know?
Yeah.
And we talked about in our first shoot, like Chris Brown and
And
Rihanna.
Rihanna, yeah, we talked
I
about Chris
remember
Brown,
hearing
Rihanna.
that song for the first time,
Residual,
Residual.
yeah.
And I'm like, yo, and we listened to it the first time, and then you started listening to it,
watched
and
the
you're
video.
like, you watched the video, and you're like, no, it's almost like you went into like slight
I was like-
depression.
I was
you're
like,
like,
what?
babe, this is sad.
Yeah, I was saying that
Yo, this
no
is
way.
sad.
Yeah, I
This
said,
is
yo,
sad.
this girl looks exactly like Rihanna because I know Rihanna has the brown eyes, and then the dress and everything, and just listening to you because that is the thing, right? When you are in love with someone, especially when that person is your first love, I don't think that it's never something that you ever get over.
I personally don't think
And
so.
I don't think that you ever move on from it. Because the thing is, when it comes to women, I think that women, they are a little bit more emotional than a man where they will sit and they will wait and they will hope. And even in cases that, I'll leave you to talk about that experience. But from me and my experience and from what I even see with Chris Brown, is that as men, we sometimes feel as though, okay, she was my first love, but I can replace her. I can find someone exactly like her, who looks like her, makes me feel the same way, how she used to make me feel. And that's what creates that line of a relationship where you're with this person, you're not feeling the same way, you're not finding your first love, so you might jump to the next person. Oh, she's not here, so you jump to the next person. I'm not sure if I'm making sense, but in reality, I think for us men is that we try to find the love of our lives, the first love in the woman we will go on dating.
Mm-hmm.
And 9 times out of 10, if the woman is not there, we will move on in search for
For
her in
her.
someone else.
Wow.
So it can be very, very detrimental to a man, and to our health, emotionally, when we fall in love with our first love, and then you break that up, and you never get to see that person again. It's like, and as I always tell you this, that when you left, it was like you left with a piece of my heart, and that hole was constantly there, never being filled. It doesn't matter who I was with, so it's a sad thing.
It's a sad thing. And I can say that for it's one thing if one person feels this way.
Mm-hmm.
I love this person, and the feeling is not mutual. But when the feeling is mutual,
Mm-hmm.
it's a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
I just remember how much I would move on. I'd have, different dating experiences, but you were always my point of reference. I'd always think back, what if, not trying to get these guys to measure up to you, but I always, no matter where I was, no matter how contented I may have seemed, in my heart of hearts and in my mind, in my being, in my soul, it was always you who I wanted to be with. No matter where I was in the world, no matter what dating experience I was having, I was always thinking back at you and what we had and thinking, what if? And sometimes I'd wonder to myself, oh my gosh, this love is so deep. Is it a soul tie? Is it this? Is it that? I was trying to define it when it was just deeper than the physical world.
Yeah.
And as I said, it's one thing for me to feel that way on one hand, but you're feeling the same way.
Yeah.
I desire
For
you as much
years.
as you desire
For
me,
years.
and for years.
And we would never.
And we never talk about it. Never had a conversation.
We never
It
had
was just like, hey, happy New Year. How are you doing? Good. All right, bye.
It was always these moments when we would talk. I would share my church experience. Oh, I preach a sermon today.
Yeah, check it out. We're talking about everything but that.
Everything, but we never crossed any boundaries. And even to the point when I got divorced, when you got separated, we never had that conversation about how we truly felt.
Yeah.
And it's just weird. And it took mommy. it took her
Like,
to
y'all
say,
need to talk about this.
yeah, because she would see how detrimental it was for you after your divorce. What I got into affected you, and she would see that. And of course, even after that, even after everything, there were moments when I would just wake up out of bed. These are the things that I would say in my mind. I just feel like I should just go get married to Ebonique and live out the rest of my days with her and just be happy. Because for me, it's like no one could fill that hole inside of me except you. That void that I felt after a relationship. It was like a man on a hunt for year. You were just searching for year, and wherever.
What's year?
Like the year.
The air. That's why.
The year,
I love your accent. I love it.
We were searching for year. Like a man on a mission searching for year, and you just don't know.
You can't grab it.
You can't grab it.
Yeah.
And even if you think you find it, it's not it.
Yeah.
So that was what it was. And
wow.
Well, today, thank God, we are here.
Yeah.
Thanks to God first, and of course, mommy.
Yes.
And for years, mommy has been saying, children
must listen to their
parents. And the truth is,
we could have avoided all of this.
If we had listened to her, we would have avoided all of this.
And I would have never gotten married. You would have never gotten married. Yeah. So many things would have been different.
So many things would have been different. But here comes 2025. And, I was living my life somewhere in the States. You living
Living my
your life
life
somewhere
somewhere
in the
in the States.
States. And I remember reaching out to mommy on New Year's Day. Hey, mommy, Happy New Year's. And I asked for you because you had blocked me because you wanted me to come down to do a podcast session. But at the time, I wasn't in the right mental space. And so I was doing my thing, and I was just not in the right mental space. I just felt like I couldn't pour into what you wanted us to do at the time because I was empty. And there was a lot going on. As I said, I wasn't well mentally.
And you had just gotten out of a relationship.
And I just gotten out of a relationship. So I was going through that healing phase.
Yeah.
And so I think I took a long time to respond to you.
Yeah. I was thinking,
And you
okay,
blocked me.
he probably just doesn't want to take the trip. That's fine. Can we just do like a Zoom call? The guy didn't even respond to me. So I'm like, okay. And I feel like people find time for what they wanted to find time for. But yeah, since you you expressed it,
Yeah,
that
mentally,
you
man,
weren't
I wasn't in a good space. I just wasn't in a good space at all. And it's not even about the breakup. It was more so about my life, where I was in my life at the time. I was just not in a good place. I was not well mentally. I was going through it. I was having that continuous, and I have to use the word continuous, Job experience, because my life is so reflective of that of Job sometimes. But that's the reason. So you blocked me.
Yeah, and it might sound really bad that I just blocked you like that, but I feel like I would go through those phases where it would be like how are you, Happy New Year, Happy Sabbath, random messages like maybe once a year or twice a year.
But we did have good talks.
We used to have good talks every now and then. But I just knew in my heart that I wanted more. And I saw no way of that happening.
Well, let's talk about, as you mentioned.
And that's why, my safe place was to just, shut it down right now, because this is not going to happen. Even while I was divorced.
Something?
What?
Shut it down right now?
What?
Disconnect it right now?
What? No.
High school?
What is that?
When you shut it off because you didn't want to deal with a potential heartbreak.
Yeah. But, and of course I've gotten, I've learned better ways of handling stuff. And I was going through my healing process, as well. But I always knew that I love this man. And I believe that God had to purify the desires I had towards you to this point where I love you even if it's not me that you're going to be with. And that, I think that's a treasure for our relationship at this point.
You know what? I remember when I was in that relationship after my divorce, and you had asked me if I think, what was the question? You asked me if I think that there
was any hope of us ever being
you
together.
Asked me if there was any hope of us ever being together.
I went out on a limb to ask that question.
And I don't remember what my exact response was, but I remember I told you that I'm involved in this relationship and I just wanted to be faithful throughout the process. And the thing is, I was on a change path where the life I once lived, I never wanted to live that life anymore. I never wanted to repeat that life. I wanted to be the faithful partner. Whether it was boyfriend, relationship, I wanted to be faithful.
The way you put that though, make it seem like, say, I was some hindrance or some sort.
Oh, no, you weren't. But I was, no, of course you weren't.
Okay.
Because remember you asked the question, if there was a possibility.
Yeah, because I knew that you were, based on our biblical beliefs, you're divorced, and I'm divorced. So then anything,
right, right.
if it's a girlfriend, it's not marriage. So,
Yeah. So, but I didn't want to just run away, leave that, and then boom, because I know, I knew that I wanted to be with you, but I never wanted it to be done on any level where someone would look at me and say, "Oh, look, he left me to go be with her."
That's
At the
true.
time, and at the moment when you had asked me as well, there was a lot of challenges. So was there potential? Of course, there was a possibility, because we, as I said, we had a lot of challenges that did not seem as though we would have ended up at that place, and for many reasons, and thank God that didn't happen. But I just wanted to be true to that purpose and faithful, and so I did. And after we broke up, I went through my healing phase. We were having conversations, good, healthy conversations. You were going through your healing phase.
And I told him, I don't want no man. I don't want any
Right.
man.
You told me that, oh, you don't want. But at the same time, there was something keeping me back from having that conversation, and you and I know what that was, because I didn't want you to think that was what it was.
Yeah.
But here, 2025 came, and I had prayed 4 prayers, five? Five prayers. I prayed for a car,
Some
money. I prayed for
to get off that island.
I prayed to get off that island. I prayed
to get
married. One other thing. I don't remember what it was. But I remember God answered all four. But the last one was to get married. And that prayer was supposed to be, should have been answered in 2024. However, I think I delayed the answer to that prayer. And so I was there. I said, well, God, you answered four of the part of the things I asked you for. So I'm just going to wait patiently for one. And 2025 came. I said, how is Ebony doing? And Mommy said, oh, she's at this place. You call her. And I called you, didn't get you. And I said to my best friend, I said to Ricky, yo, shout out to Ricky. Shout out to Ricky, my boy. I said to Ricky, yo, it seems like Ebony blocked me. And I'm saying, so I was there, and I'm saying, man. So I texted you, didn't go through. And I said, okay, cool. She probably blocked me for sure.
Yeah.
Then the next day, I think I contacted you, or a few days after that, I contacted you, and you responded. And that was one of those mornings when I got up and I was just having that feeling again, constant feeling that I've been having for a very long time, to just get married to you and just live out the rest of my days being happy. And so I asked you that same question,
almost a year after.
Do you think, I said, do you think that at this juncture of our life, it's a possibility for us to rekindle our love for each other? And you said yes. And I said, okay. I said, yeah.
Like, no questions there. Like, absolutely.
And you would ask, how should we go about it? Should we date? And I said yes, given the context of modern day dating and what that means.
And honestly, I didn't want to be with you,
You did?
I wanted to, but I didn't want to, because, and that's something that we're going to have to cover in that other video.
Wait.
Because, after, and that's something we'll cover in that video. Why did I stay married and why did I get divorced? Because a lot of trauma built up, which kept me from even initiating the conversation when I wanted to. So even while you were thinking about it, I was thinking about it. But the trauma kept me from actually having that conversation.
Right.
And that's something that we're going to have to delve into in that other discussion.
But, of course, I asked, and it was a resounding yes.
Yes.
And so I was excited. I was happy. And I remember we talked, and it was like when you asked about dating, I was like, okay, dating, yeah. But then within the modern day context, I was thinking about it. And I said, yeah, we don't need to date. We know
We
each
know
other.
each other.
You know, even though we haven't been around each other for 13 years, it was like it was like, come on.
Yeah, like
Like,
what are you dating about? What do you need
you
to
know,
know? Like,
so we talked. I told you that, of course, I want to date you for as long as I live,
yes.
whether married or not. Um, but we spoke, we talk about marriage, and I was even surprised when you had mentioned, what are we waiting for?
Yeah.
You know, we have been waiting for years. Let's just
Right?
get
Oh
this
my
thing
God.
out of
You
the
know,
way.
so many people don't get to experience this.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's sad.
It is. It is. It's crazy. And then we were listening to Residual. We were both happy. I was really,
Yes.
really happy. I remember when I walked in the living room, because me and Ricky, we were living in the same apartment at the time, and I said, "Yo, I'm gonna get married to Ebonique," and he said, "Eh?" He said, "Eh, good stuff, that boy." Yeah, Ricky said it was good stuff.
Yeah. And also,
we were
like,
excited.
when were people encouraging you or discouraging you from who to choose as a partner? If so,
Well, the thing about me is that I live my life publicly but privately at the same time. And somebody might say that that's not possible. But the thing is, whatever I put on social media about my life, you know, I post my gym stuff, I might post a video of me going out or stuff like that. That's just what I want people to know. But there's a lot about my life that people don't know.
yes.
And like, when it came to the more important things about my life, that's something that Ricky would know. You know, so no one could come to say to me like, you know, I don't think that you should date this girl, or I don't think this is the right girl for you, because that's something that I don't allow for people to do. You know, not even when I'm in a relationship, no one would come to me to say something to me about my relationship, because that's just how I live my life, in such a way where people know that just I'm not the kind of guy who you will just walk up to say something to about any aspect of my life. You just don't have that right.
Yeah.
Unless I put you inside of that circle.
I'm asking because I remember at some points where we'd have our little conversations. You'd say that, you know, so and so is telling me to go ahead. We should do this, and I'm getting the same advice. We're getting
where family was concerned.
where family is concerned.
So that's different. So they are in that
inner circle.
Yes. You know, so
you know, our family knew us. They knew that we made a big mistake.
Mommy was happy.
Everybody was happy. Even our friends on Facebook, like,
Mommy seems like she was more happy.
She seemed like she was the one who got married.
She was.
I was
so
like,
happy.
This person is so.
Yeah, she was
I've
excited.
never.
She was posting her pictures on her WhatsApp.
Yes,
every day
it was a new picture. She was so happy. My aunts, my dad, everybody's so happy for us.
People knew
because they know. They knew you.
They
knew me. And they knew us together.
Yeah.
And they knew what we had.
Right. And they also knew what you went through.
And they also knew what I went through.
So that was a huge deal for everybody. And I think everybody knew that even 2019, the looks on our face when we were being separated, even though we didn't say anything to anybody, people could just naturally see that these two are madly in love, and they just don't know what to do at this point.
My aunt said she just still remembers a look on your face. She said it's almost like he's happy, but he's sad at the same time, because she came all the way from the States, and now she's leaving, and we didn't even get to spend some time together. She's like, that look on your face was priceless. She said she never said it to anybody, but she saw it and she knew, like, you know, you were thinking about a lot, and you were sad. You were happy to have seen me, but you were sad that, you know, as soon as she came, and she's just gone. You know? And she's seeing it, then everybody else is seeing it, because everybody knew about our relationship. And also the love, now that we're together, all of that, you know, twists and turns. Now that we're together, after 13 plus years, don't forget the plus. It wasn't just 13 years flat.
It was like the wilderness experience.
Right from 2013, 2012, 2013 to 2020 to 2025.
25. 2025. That's a long time.
2025. Yeah. 2013 to 2025. Do the math.
That's a long time.
It's a while. Mm-hmm. And the love and the connection has remained the same, even though the communication was so crappy, you know?
Yeah, the communication wasn't crappy.
Meaning crappy in the sense that we weren't even... it was so on and off. Hey, hi, bye.
But every time we connected, we would have very good, healthy,
meaningful conversations. Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I admired about you the most, your intellectual capacity. And it's something that I truly admired about you up to today. Your ability to just have those deep conversations and have those deep discussions on almost any topic that you choose.
And even after so many years, we recently got married, and our friends on Facebook, how can I even, wrap up our love story without mentioning how much love and congratulations and support we've been getting from our Facebook friends, much of whom are people from our high school that saw our relationship, whether they're professors or colleagues, people that saw our relationship and they're like, finally, you deserve this. Family and friends. And I just want to say thank you so much for the love. Thank you for the support, the congratulations, and everything. We really appreciate the support.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. We really, it's the love and warmth that we feel from everybody.
Yeah.
About us being married, like it's finally a dream come true.
It's a dream come true.
It's a dream come true, and I'm happy. We're happy, and we are so thankful that God has restored unto us, as our mother would say,
the years that the locust stole.
Has stolen.
No more. Yeah, no more will I have to think and wonder what if. What if?
Yeah.
This is not, now my brain can rest. I'm finally with you.
Finally complete.
Finally complete.
Yeah.
Well, but wrap up, baby. Wrap up.
All right, guys. We just want to thank you guys for tuning in. We are happy that we were able to share this story with you all. And we truly hope that this is inspiring for someone or for individuals out there who were at that place in their lives where they would have met their true love, that first love that you had. And you might be at a point in your life where you just don't know how to have that conversation. My encouragement is, our encouragement is, just go and have it.
Have that talk.
Let it happen. Find a way to make it happen. And I would say this, it's best to have that conversation.
And nothing comes of it.
And nothing comes of it than to not have it.
The regret.
The regret that you feel like it's not a good feeling.
And the time wasted.
Wasted.
Yes.
So we're just hoping that our love story can truly inspire people to just go have that talk, and find your true love wherever they are and have that talk. That's my encouragement. That's our encouragement. Yes. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will be back with another episode.
Yes.
What's the topic?
Why did I stay married? And why did I get Why did I stay married? And why did I get divorced?
So go over there, check that video out. That video should be up right now. Thank you guys for tuning in. We want you to like, subscribe, share this video. Stay tuned. We have a lot more to talk about, a lot more topics that we want to dive into.
If you like our content, we are also available on Instagram, TikTok, and on Facebook. Show us some love over there. Unfiltered Heart Talks.